Yeah, I want to give you a little history lesson on a couple things and give you some pause for thought because, I really didn't say it as strongly as I should have said it in the last video because sometimes I'm a little afraid of, like, people being hearing things too much one way and it just shocks them too much and, they don't want to hear it. If I really tell you what the hell I'm thinking about, what the deal is, it's more severe than you think. I'm 100% sure that Donald Trump is a dead ringer. He's playing a game to the max. I mean, they all are. They're all buddy with each other, and I don't trust any of them. You're lucky if I'm not a member of the Kennedy family because I'd be looking for serious vengeance with extreme prejudice. I can tell you that right now on all of them. But be that as it may, George Bush Sr., like Herbert Walker Bush, whatever you want to call him, he was somebody that really was at extremely high popularity. After we had Desert Storm in 1991, Saddam Hussein was bragging, the mother of all wars, and all the religious people were coming out of left field like, oh, this is the end, Armageddon's coming on us. And he got his ass wiped really fast, mainly because of General Schwarzkopf, not Colin Powell, I can tell you that right now. That's the reality situation. It was mainly General Schwarzkopf. But I was glad, I can tell you one thing, I was extremely glad that H.W. Bush Sr. was the commander-in-chief at that time. I was extremely glad because it surprised the hell out of me how fast the war was over. It was called the 100-Hour Ground War. It was like people in Russia were thinking, oh, hey, the whole end, you forget about it, the United States is going to get bogged down. Nah, there was no playing games. And, it was something, it was almost like U.S. fought World War II again. So H.W. Bush he had an extremely high popularity rate. Now they say like it was partly the economy was slowing down, that's why he lost. But really it was Ross Perot. Ross Perot took 19% of the popular vote. Now I know about, H.W.'s New World Order speech and all that garbage. Yeah, actually, I think it was in September 11th, 1990, 11 years prior to September 11th, 2001, when we had, I think that's what it was. Yeah, I think that's what it was. 11 years prior, he was talking about the, the end of, I'm tripping on my words here, man, a little bit. But, he was talking about the New World Order, establishing a New World Order. He's a total freaking, Yale insider, skull and bones, 322 the number and all that other bullshit. And actually, to recall, you had 9/11, 1990 when he made that speech. You had 9/11, 11 years later. That's what it was on 2001 when you had the World Trade Center went down with the planes or the missiles, whatever the hell it was, in Building 7, I know. And I could tell you more about this shit before people even had the internet. I could tell you a lot more shit about things that were going on way before the internet has been around. I also know about 11 years later, another Illuminati thing, 9/11, 2012, Christopher Story. I think he was supposed to be captured or some garbage, and the plan went wrong, but he got killed. Yeah, I know there were a whole bunch of freaking yo-yos involved in it. But how did this guy lose the election? Ross Perot. Ross Perot, man. That's the only way. Now, this thing was like, surprised the hell out of me. I thought this war was going to go for like at least several months. I was like, holy shit, it was over so fast. It was like, thank God, that's all I thought about. And I was extremely glad Herbert Walker Bush was the president or commander-in-chief at that time. Because, it was like your memory in the past, from this time, in 1991, the last major conflict was Vietnam. And, that was a psychological blow to Americans. Now, I'm going to actually comment a little bit on that right now, because I put some videos out on that, and I know they're unpopular, but I was telling you the truth. The Tet Offensive in Vietnam was when the Viet Cong got their ass kicked. Initially, it was a big surprise. Oh, yeah, but you know what? They came out of the woodwork, and they all got whacked. It was the end of the Viet Cong, period. The USA never lost a major battle in Vietnam. Never. No units in the USA ever surrendered. None of them. None of them. There were times when there's, units were outnumbered 10-1, and it wasn't like a major battle, but it was a major battle right there. Yeah, there was problems in that kind of situation when the Americans were outnumbered 10-1. But even in those situations, we didn't lose that war. That's a freaking scam by the major media. I'm going to tell you that again and again and again. Before I even get into this other point I'm going to be making about Trump. We didn't lose the freaking war in Vietnam. They were done. They were done. You know what happened? The money was pouring into Russia from deals made by giving them loans and loan guarantees and things that were being sold to them. And they were basically never even paid us back on the loan guarantees. And all that stuff that was being sent over to Russia by policies by Rockefeller, it went to North Vietnam. We funded both sides of that war. I mean, after the U.S. left militarily, and the propaganda that was going on in the media left and right, it was freaking horrendous. It was bullshit. Even with one arm tied behind your back, with the U.S. military was vastly superior to what was going on in Vietnam. You could say, yeah, they're fighting a revolution. No, that was bullshit all the way. And most of the people that served in Vietnam were volunteers. Us Americans, were volunteers. They weren't draftees. The major media gives you another freaking impression on that bullshit. But when Desert Storm was fought, 1991, against, the big war to end all wars, the mother of all wars, Saddam Hussein, it was over after, months of bombing, the ground war was over in 100 hours. It was done. So Herbert Walker Bush was riding super high on popularity in 91. 90% popularity rating. How the hell is a boy, that's what they called him, the boy governor from Arkansas, who was a draft dodger, and I knew all the freaking scandals on this guy before he even got nominated. There wasn't even 286 computers around and no internet. I got everything on paper, and I still have it. And, I might start getting serious about this research and bringing it back up. About a bunch of other things, too. But, here's Boy Wonder. Gets the nomination. This guy was chosen, man. You know why he's chosen partly, too? He's he's very charismatic. He can talk. He's good, he does. He's a likable guy. Hillary don't have that. I mean, he's a likable guy. But the real thing is, where they got him, is he had so many scandals on him with so many women and so much stuff going all the way back when he was governor, and with his brother, and everybody, all the drugs and all this other stuff that was going on, disappeared bodies and you name it. I mean, I knew all this shit before this guy even got nominated. They got the goods on him, so he's going to play whatever which way they want him to. He doesn't hatch all these freaking Illuminati plans in his head by himself. He's a player. He plays along with whatever the hell's going, and he goes with the flow. He's just like, the hell with it, Screw it. I'm a number one, and the hell with it. But how the hell did this guy beat out Herbert Walker Bush? I knew he's New World Order Herbert Walker Bush. But Herbert Walker Bush had a 90% popularity rating less than a year before the election. Ross Perot. That's how he got beat. 19% of the popular vote went to Ross Perot, and he took it all from freaking Bush. Now, this clown act, though, with the Clintons, I mean, is ridiculous. It's like beyond disgusting. And I don't like any of these freaking politicians, to tell you the truth. Right now, I guess if it wasn't for Teddy Kennedy, I would like the Kennedys. So all the Kennedys I liked. Maybe not Teddy Kennedy, but almost all the Kennedys I liked. I'm glad I wasn't, if I was born a Kennedy right now, I'd be already looking for vengeance on all these bastards that go after my family. I can tell you that right now. But this clown here, Ross Perot, was what actually put Bill Clinton in office twice. Because he ran twice. Yeah, I like what he said. I like what he supposedly stood for. But don't tell me a businessman who is the shrewdest strategist in the world was not playing a game. I already know this. Just like Ron Paul, and I took so many hits for freaking saying what Ron Paul was a load of shit from day one, because he was not fighting even when he was losing in his primaries, and it was a blatant scam, and he was being cheated, and they had all the proof. Yeah, he's gonna freaking stop the Federal Reserve, and he can't even fight for his own primary when he's being cheated, and he's got all the proof that he's being cheated. He's not a fighter. Well, he's bullshit. He's false. These are false people they put up to lead the opposition and waste your freaking money and waste your time getting behind them, and that's all it is. But I want to get you on to some things here because Trump is bullshit. I can guarantee you, man. I was not strong enough in that last video, man. I know. At first, I thought I liked what he said, but it doesn't take me that long to figure out. Wait a minute, what is this guy really about? I mean, I really didn't know nothing about Trump, other than he's got some expensive casinos and restaurants. I'd never go in because, I ain't paying $80 for a steak dinner because this asshole wants a lot of money. Screw you, buddy. He probably hires illegal aliens left and right to go work on the construction of his buildings, too. I mean, he's full of shit. I guarantee he's got loads of them in there. But Bill Clinton talking about Trump in 2012. Donald Trump has been uncommonly nice to Hillary and me. That's what Bill Clinton was saying about him 3 years ago. Donald Trump was supporting the Democrats and Bloomberg. Bloomberg's another load of shit freaking Republican. Giuliani's a load of shit. I don't like any of these asshole politicians, okay? All of them are. They're freaking crooked, load of shit, egotistical, in with the freaking big boys, out to screw everybody out. Over that's the little people, basically. We want to call us the little people, but we are the little people because we can't do much about this shit, Trump talked about Clinton. I like him. I love playing golf with him. Well, maybe that's true. Clinton actually, I think, is the type of guy I would probably like on a one-to-one basis. He'd probably be cool to hang around with. I don't know. But then again, maybe not. I don't know. There's some shit about him just turns my stomach, I tell you the truth, I don't know, that draft dodging shit really pissed me. There's a lot of shit about it. Well, I'm not a freaking druggie either, so that's another thing. Hey, man, Clinton's more than freaking weed. Who are they kidding? Trump praised Hillary Clinton as a New York State senator. Today he's telling you, she was a terrible Secretary of State. Well, he's saying exact opposite of what he said about her not that long ago when she was state senator. And what about JFK Jr. in that plane that crashed? What the hell do you think? What about, how did Hillary Clinton even get to be state senator or even run for the office in New York? Oh, just get an apartment in New York. How come Trump isn't saying nothing about that? Because I think he's a ringer, man. I think he's playing a game to maybe put the Clintons back in. I don't know. I really don't know. He's been buddy-buddy with him forever. I mean, all of a sudden there's this big break. Yeah, really? He just been buddy-buddy with him for the last 2 decades. For 20 years. He's been buddy-buddy with him. And the type of Republicans he's buddy-buddy with, he criticizes Jeb Bush, which I don't like Jeb Bush. But he's all buddy. He was always buddy-buddy with Bloomberg. Who the hell is this guy kidding, man? He's not fooling me. I know I put stuff out about Ron Paul before, and a long time ago, and nobody wanted to hear it. He's going to save the day. He ain't going to save shit. Guarantee you right now, man. Don't waste your time on the shit, man. Don't waste your time getting behind these assholes. They always said, what was that, Greek philosophy? When you got a democracy, what the weak people do, when they got the majority do, they try to elect a strong leader to take care of all their problems. Take care of your own problems, man. Don't worry about this shit. Then the Clintons attended Trump's 2005 wedding to Melanie Noss, whatever the hell it is. And the Clintons had a front pew seat at the Episcopal Church. So they were like, hey, you're the Clintons here, sit right up here. Yeah, you're my friends, and you're my top freaking people, and all this kind of shit. He was always been buddy-buddy with these people. Who's he kidding? Bill Clinton was Trump's favorite recent president. How could that be? How could he be his favorite recent president if he's talking all this shit right now about Obamacare's bad? Well, Hillary Clinton was off trying to push this shit when it was Hillary Claire originally. She was trying to push that shit way back when Bill was in office. Who is he kidding, man? What was Bill Clinton's immigration policy back then? Hey, and Trump says this, man. He says that was his favorite recent president, Bill Clinton. He talks about McCain. Now, I can tell you one thing. I got a lot of stuff on McCain, and I ought to dig out the freaking stuff I got because I saved this shit from 20 years ago. They were written by former POWs, and McCain was basically sweeping under the rug the POWs that were left behind in Vietnam, even when he was in charge of the committee. That's his big number one crime. Yeah, and I also know about the USS Forrestal, or Forest Fire, if you want to call it that. And then he was a privileged son of, Mr. Highfalutin, Mr. Important. But for Trump to make a statement like, you're no hero, you got captured? You jerk. And Trump got out of Vietnam because he had a slight bone spur. I mean, what the hell is that? I mean, that probably took some money to get that kind of doctor to say that. You got a bone spur. Well, freaking take a hammer. I'll fix it for you, buddy? Little pussy. But the thing is, these guys aren't pussies. You know why? Because they're not, as far as their internal appetite, they're like the teeth of the Hydra with cute smiles on their face. That's what they're all about. Well, that's what the Clintons are, man. I mean, actually, her, man, I really dread that thing being in office because, I mean, Bill, at least, when it gets down to a one-to-one basis, he's got some kind of care about people. She don't have any. She got none. She got none. But, again, right now it looks like, the situation in 92 was such that it seemed impossible that Bill Clinton could make it. It seemed impossible. You got this unheard of boy governor with a lot of dirt on him, but the major media was covering up for left and right. But when you got a lot of dirt, that means they got you by the cojones, and you're going to play ball the way they want you to. And that's exactly what he did. And, you're looking at George Herbert Walker Bush, H.W. Bush. This guy, there's no, he had a 90% popularity rating, less than a year from the election, and he loses. Get the fuck out of here, man. What do you think Ross Perot ran for? Yeah, I know he's New World Order Bush. So you got New World Order Bill Clinton? What the hell's the difference? You know? I mean, actually, Clinton was worse. He's maybe a more likable guy. He's probably got a better personality. But, you know, I mean, forget about it, man. Forget about it. So, I can tell you that I think Trump is a ringer for the Clintons, man, all the way. I think he is. And if he's not a ringer for the Clintons, he's basically playing a game, and he's exactly like, say, Bloomberg or something. He's in one of the elite establishment Republicans. He's not what he's telling you he is. No way in hell. I'd almost guarantee you, I couldn't prove it to you right now with numbers and shit, but anybody that runs the number of, you know, type of establishments that he has with restaurants, casinos, construction, he's hiring illegals left and right. I almost guarantee it. He's got to be, especially down in Florida, Key West and all that. Get the hell out of here, man. He's all over the country, man. He's got to be. He must have had loads of them in his employ. Probably built up half his freaking wealth, for all I know. You know, he gets the cheapest freaking stuff going, man. He makes him works him as much as he can, and he's bankrupt. Oh, I can't pay you. Yeah, give me a load. He's a load of shit. He's a load of shit. Actually, I liked H.W., even though I knew he's New World Order Bush. I liked H.W. a lot better than his son. And I like H.W. a lot better than Jeb. I mean, I ain't voting for Jeb. I don't give a shit what the hell happens, you know? I mean, I don't give a damn. I'm not voting for Jeb or Hillary. But it won't be Trump, I'll guarantee you that. If Trump's on a third party, and it's Jeb and Hillary, none of those bastards get my vote, but it ain't going to matter much because I'll probably be in the 1% of the 1% of the 1%. I guarantee you that, but I'm telling you what the freaking absolute truth is. This whole thing's a charade, man, all the way. But you know, people could freaking screw them all up. Easy. Easy. Don't vote for Republican, Democrat, or Trump. That's all you got to do. But nobody does that shit. Nobody does that shit. And maybe that stuff's rigged anyway. But then again, I can tell you one thing, man. You know, with some of the stuff that's coming out now, even in this last year of Obama, you know, we talked about the illegals here a little bit. Now, I'm going to tell you something. You know what Obama's done recently? There's like an oath you have to take. Like, I know Bill Clinton took an oath of office as president. Like, you know, what does that mean to him, you know? Probably nothing. I know nothing, right? But a separate subject, but maybe I'm going to add it on here. When you take an oath to be a citizen of the USA, you swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. You swear that you will bear arms in defense of the United States of America as required by law. You swear that any type of civil duty that you have that's required you by the government in defense of the United States, you will comply with that. I mean, I'm giving it to you in my words, but basically, you know what they said recently? This is per Obama. You don't have to go along with that if you don't believe in that. And you don't have to prove that you're a religious denomination or something that is that's against your beliefs. You just have to tell us that it's against your beliefs, and you don't have to swear to any that your oath when you become a citizen of the United States. You don't have to defend the United States. You don't have to even take that oath. I know it doesn't mean nothing to somebody like Bill Clinton anyway, you know, or Hillary. But the point is, at least you have people take this oath, and you got to, you know, utter it that you freaking will defend the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. You got to do that when you become a citizen. Obama just threw that rule out by saying, well, you don't have to because on religious grounds or you're a conscientious objector, but you don't have to prove that you're a part of the religion that forbids this. You just got to say that you are, or you just have to think that you don't like that, and you don't have to say it. I mean, that's, even though if somebody utters that, they might not mean it. At least it's required by law. It used to be. Now Obama's saying no. We got some deep shit going on here, man. I'm gonna tell you one thing: words don't mean a damn thing, man. You know, it depends on, we already know where the problem came from. The universities have been corrupted by socialist, communist, freaking KGB bullshit since the 60s. And now, these people are the old order that's running the country. They're a bunch of scumbags, man. That's all there is to it. But I'm going to start taking the gloves off on this bullshit because I can tell you one thing right now. I got stuff going back way before there was an internet that's been well researched, well documented, and it goes into a lot of details about a lot of shit that happened in the past. I know people talk to me about 911. I'm like, yeah, no shit. I knew 911 was a scam right from the beginning. Okay, people talk to me about the Clinton murders. Yeah, I knew that shit. I knew this. I knew all the crap about this guy before he was even nominated. I knew all the crap about the Rose Law Firm, the fires in a CPA firm, the shit that was going on before these people even got in the White House. I already knew a shit. I knew all the crap about Vince Foster, the Promise Software, Systematics Incorporated in Arkansas. Maybe you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but somebody probably got some brains that watched this video probably know what the hell I'm talking about. I already knew this shit. I knew this shit. I could talk about stuff I knew already back with JFK that flat out proves that there was more than one gunman. Just from ballistics. You can't freaking pump a a cheap Cranko bolt action rifle, and put out a couple rounds that fast. It's impossible, especially accurately, and it doesn't make that same kind of wound as JFK got. He was hit by somebody else other than Lee Harvey Oswald. I know this. I mean, I can go back on a lot of shit, I know. And, I think I'm going to pull off the gloves on this channel right now because I'm getting tired of this bullshit. Because this guy, Trump, is a load of shit. I'm going to tell you, too, just the way I said it with Ron Paul, he's a load of shit. I'm going to tell you RT is a load of shit, too. Russia Today. They're a load of shit. As far as I'm concerned, they're working in with the New World Order, too. And, the problem is giddy minds don't get you nowhere. Little rumors don't get you nowhere. You just got to stand on your own 2 feet and fight the bullshit. And be shrewd. But I can tell you one thing. I did respect Herbert Walker Bush a lot. HW. I knew what he's about. I knew he was New World Order. I knew he was CIA. I knew about the JFK thing. I knew all that shit. But somehow, I like this guy. This guy, I liked. I know there's a lot of shit I know about him, even with that's rumored with the personal life and all the other shit, the wild stuff. But somehow, I like this guy. This guy was okay. Because what I always looked at it was, when he was commander-in-chief of the military, he made sure business was taken care of. There's no screwing around. That's what I liked about him, to tell you the truth. So, even though politically I might not agree with him, whatever, fine. But he was that commander-in-chief. Business was taken care of, all the way. You won't find that with Obama. You won't find that with Clinton. You're not going to find that with Trump either. And you wouldn't find that with Ross Perot. Actually, I'm going to tell you something else. It's also sad that we got less veterans in our Congress, in our Senate, or House of Representatives and Senate, our congressional body, than we've had in many decades. We have less veterans now. And that's bad news, to tell you the truth. because they don't represent the people in the true way. You always, I'll tell you the truth, I think it ought to be a constitutional amendment that anybody that serves in the U.S. Senate or anybody that serves in the as Chief Justice or anybody that serves as a president, Speaker of the House, or anybody that serves as Vice President or Secretary of State, all of them, they have to be former veterans. Because, right now we got a problem where we got these people have an allegiance to the big money power, and they got an allegiance to just their own freaking self-interest. That's the problem with Bill. That's why I don't like him, because he's out for number one. This guy's probably a likable guy, but he's out for number one. He don't give a shit. He don't give a shit about nobody that much. Yeah, I'm just going to tell you, though, nobody's going to come out of nowhere and save your ass, because say Donald Trump was this guy you think he is, he'd be dead. He'd be dead. If Donald Trump was the guy you really think he is, say you're one of the people you think he's the good guy, he'd be dead. Guarantee it. Just like Ron Paul, he'd be dead too. Oh, he's an old guy, he'd have a heart attack. Just like Matt Simmons with BP when he ratted on BP, Hey, he was counsel on foreign relations. Hey, he had a heart attack in his hot tub. He's dead, right? Or to get brain cancer. That's another thing that happens, right? So, like I said, I'm not going to play like the conspiracy shit. I'm going to give you hard facts on crap. And I'm going to rattle some... Well, I'm not going to rattle cages. I'm just going to tell you what the hell's going on, man. That's all. Don't trust them, man. Don't trust any of these bastards. Period. That's all there is to it. Just make sure that you, as individuals, number one, you stick up for the Bill of Rights. That's the 10 Commandments. And if they try to take it away, we're going to put it back. That's the way it goes.